Hello friends, welcome back and thanks so much for watching. I am doing an updated, long overdue video today about my weight loss. This has been an 18-month journey, but I've had a lot of questions recently and people have been like, you lost so much weight so suddenly. What have you been doing? What are your exercises? And I'm like, babe, this has been a long time coming, but I wanted to talk about it because I also think it's so important to know just how important food is. And like, in my opinion, food is like 90% of it. And the workouts are only about 10%. And I used to watch these kind of videos and I looked for someone to just give me the perfect formula or say the right thing that would make me do it. But it really was just me getting up and doing it that made the biggest difference. So I hope that this video inspires you. Please watch the entire thing. I will save the Q&A portion for the end of this, just so that if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. I'll kind of cover the main meat in the main part of this video. But no, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is just what worked for me. And what worked for me may not work for you. So I will start out by saying I have two before photos actually. So the first photo I'm going to show you was taken in, I think it was either like August or September. I was freshly postpartum. Whenever I when I found out I was pregnant with Roman, he was kind of our surprise baby. And I remember looking myself in the mirror and going, this is going to be really hard, but I promise I'm going to fight for you. It was a message from me to me, and I kept that promise. I knew that it was going to be tough to do 2 under 2. I had no idea that I was going to face the postpartum depression that I did. That was a very long journey that took me a very long time to get out of. It was rough, but I kept that promise, and every single day I fought for myself. So we have this newly postpartum woman in this photo, and since that photo was taken, I have lost 59.2 pounds. My BMI is down 8.7. My body fat is down 13.4%, and currently I actually weigh less than I've ever weighed in my adult life. The number on the scale isn't as important, and I mean, it's not really important, period. It doesn't, explain how you feel. It doesn't, that has nothing to do with your measurements, but that is just something that app also shows. So I have lost 59 pounds, which is like we'll round it up and say a rough even 60, and I feel better than I have ever felt. So I was pretty consistent about doing something after I gave birth to Ro. It wasn't really, I would do some workouts, and that was just working out and not eating any different. I tried to prioritize eating healthy. I tried to calorie count, but I just would do it for a really small period of time and then I'd fall off the wagon. I'd do it for a really small period of time and I'd fall off the wagon. I would go on walks or runs or try something after the boys went to bed. And if the baby woke up and it wasn't related to breastfeeding, then Sam could take care of it. He's your kid, you got it. And Sam knew how important it was to me to work out and move my body, so he would take over nights. Again, until, unless it involved breastfeeding. And then I did end up quitting breastfeeding right kind of in the middle of my postpartum depression. And truly, I'm not going to talk too much about it because it still gets me emotional, but that ended up helping my postpartum depression a lot. A lot of it was around the fact that my breast milk supply just disappeared overnight. My body was tired. It had done this back to back. And once I stopped the breastfeeding, of course, that gave me a little bit more freedom to work out. And ultimately, I would have chosen to breastfeed longer, than I got to if it was up to me, but it wasn't a choice. And so I just was trying to find the positive. I was like, hey, I mean, at least now I guess I can work out more. And that was when I was able to kind of get my headspace in a little bit more of a better place, which takes me to April. So that is the second before photo that you see here. And that is the green bikini photo is what I call it. And that was April. That was about right around that time was when I really was like, okay, feel a little bit normal, feel a little bit more like myself. I think I was like 8 months postpartum, 8 or 9 months postpartum there. And you can definitely tell a difference between that September photo and the April photo, but I knew that I wasn't consistent enough. So that is when I started Faster Way to Fat Loss. I loved that program so much. I joined the initial 6-week program and it helped me so much. I had counted calories in the past, but I didn't ever really stick with it. I'd worked out in the past, but never really had a good routine, and Faster Way to Fat Loss kind of cleared all that mess out and made everything just make sense. So you can find like macro calculators online. I don't recommend doing that because then you could be like, oh, I want to lose 2 pounds a week. And in my experience, that is not feasible. So I had a coach that not only worked through my macro split with me, but also she was like, do you have any dietary restrictions? Which I didn't, but if I did, she could have added those in. She taught me how to count my macros. She taught me, I was like, hey, I'm going out to eat. Like I can't, count my macros, and she would give me tips. She really walked me through macro counting, and the working out was equally important. She would kind of guide me through and be like, don't step on the scale. That's not important. But she really helped me understand the macros. And within 2 weeks of doing that program, I was sleeping better, had so much energy. It was insane. My skin was looking better. And that was when I really felt like a switch just flipped in my brain. And it went from calorie counting, this is a restriction, this is only how much you can eat in a day, to macro counting, this is how much you're fueling your body in a day. So that was what got me down to actually my pre-baby weight. My goal was 9 pounds in 6 weeks, which is a lot, but it happened honestly because eating was the biggest thing for me. I definitely had a better workout routine on Faster Way to Fat Loss. They have workouts within their app that are super helpful, and they kind of work with the macro split that you do. It was great, but really what I was eating was such a huge part of it. So that's why I was able to lose that 9 pounds in 6 weeks. So I get to the end of the 6 weeks and they say, do you want to sign on to VIP? And I said, yes. I stayed on from the end of that 6-week program. So what are we at, like May or June at this point, until September, because I wanted to make sure that I stuck with it. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. I wanted to make sure that I could stick to it without, having to rely on my coach kind of as a fallback. I wanted to make sure that I was good, and I did. So in September, I emailed them. I think you have to email them or fill out the form or whatever it is, 7 days before you would be charged, and they canceled. They were like, let us know if you have any questions. We would always love to have you back, but we hope that, we helped you out. So in September, I went out on my own, and in October and November were when I lost the bulk of my weight. That took me not only, down to a total of 59.2 pound weight loss, but also I now am smaller than I've ever been because of one change. So that one change happened pretty naturally. I was hitting my macro split, but I was like, you gotta stay working out. You gotta do the thing. And so I started drinking protein drinks more, and I started eating protein ice cream more. And I was like, I'm hitting my macros, but I'm passing my protein goals, and I feel better than I've ever felt. When I was just counting macros, I was hitting my macro goal. I was still eating 6 to 8 times a day. Whenever I would eat high protein, I was eating 2 or 3 times max, because when you eat high protein, you feel fuller longer. You have, I at least have significantly less blood sugar up and down. I just feel better. I was sleeping even better. My skin looked even better. I just had even more energy than I had originally. And I noticed that it was just because of this high protein. I was hitting my protein goal and then passing it. And I stepped on the scale and I was like, what happened? And I realized I had lost 4 pounds in a month because I had surpassed my protein goal almost every single day. So that was the huge switch for me. Was I was still hitting those macros, but getting higher into protein. So I kind of did a little deep dive. What is it about this? And I discovered that that's actually a very common thing. Some people refer to it as I think it's called a high protein calorie deficit, or a protein focus, macro split. And you still try and hit your calorie intake or your macro goal, but you're really gonna prioritize protein over everything else. Now I can kind of look at my plate and know how many macros I'm gonna get, but I still count my protein to the gram, because whenever I hit between 120 to 140 grams of protein, I feel so good. They do say you should have 1 gram of protein per pound that you weigh. That can be a little hard for some people. I think there are calculators online. Again, I highly recommend the Faster Way to Fat Loss program. She can kind of help guide you and start you at a little bit of a lower spot. But whenever I hit between I would say my comfort zone is like 130. I can like pretty safely hit 130 without even really trying hard. But when I hit between like 130 to 140, it's just absolutely amazing. I look better than I've ever looked. I feel better than I've ever felt. And that was, it happened naturally. So I think it was like October and November, I lost 4 pounds each of those months. So it was an additional 8 pounds total. And I started hearing like, oh my God, you look so good. You're so tiny. You're so fit. And it was just simply because of the protein. Now, I want to make sure that I say this before I move into my gym workouts now, because I did get asked about supplements. So I made a video in May or June, originally last year. I'll link that below. Just make sure you watch the rest of this video first, and then you can go watch that one. People ask like an update on supplements. Are there any supplements you take? I don't think that you should ever rely on a supplement to get you to your fitness and health goals, but no, I started taking Lexapro. I went to a new doctor and I started taking Lexapro in July. And at the time there were some mixed studies on what like chlorophyll and specifically like greens, like green powder can do. Some say that they completely just made the anxiety medication like null and void. And although I felt so much better, I definitely was still struggling and have always struggled with mild anxiety. I was on anxiety medication before I had kids. So since I knew that that was something that I really did feel like I just needed, it wasn't worth it to me to like keep taking the greens and the chlorophyll and all that stuff, if it meant there was a potential for it to mess with that Lexapro. So I just decided to do a hard reset. I don't take any of them now. I just do like a multivitamin, a Lexapro, liquid collagen for my hair, skin, and nails. I think that's everything. Like sometimes I will take a debloating thing that I'll talk about in a minute, but no, I don't do creatine because I have heard, and I don't like, I'm not knocking creatine, but I have heard that it can cause excess hair growth. And as someone who is like just a very hairy person naturally, I don't want to increase that. And then pre-workout, I've never been big on it. I probably would feel better if I did. And I know that a lot of those things can help like muscle repair, but I hear a lot of people talk about like the itch and the twitch, like they'll say their head itches or like their arms. And to me, that just sounds miserable. So I don't really do any of that. I might one day, but for the time being, no, there are no supplements. I don't do anything apart from just like a multivitamin. So now we move into, I'm losing weight still, but I kind of fell off the workout train. Still losing weight because I'm eating high protein. That's why I cannot say it enough. Like, eating is so important. What you eat, how you fuel your body, that is more important than the working out, because I really had fallen off the exercise wagon, but I was still eating right, so I was losing weight. And it was at the end of December. I was like, all right, we've gone back and forth. We've had consistent weeks where we weight lift every, few days. We've had consistent weeks where we've ran. We've had consistent weeks where we do this. And that is what led me to going to the gym. I know that this is not possible for everybody. Some gyms can be expensive. Some don't have childcare, for whatever reason. I needed a change of pace. One, I was lonely. I'm a stay-at-home mom. It's just me and my kids, and I was pretty lonely and I wanted to join a gym. But two, I did know that I needed childcare to be an option. And then three, I needed it to have weightlifting of some kind. I did Orange Theory, and I like Orange Theory. I do think they're a little bit more focused on like the cardio aspect and all that versus the weightlifting. I didn't love the way they kind of did their weekly setup, but Burn Boot Camp is where I ended up joining, and I absolutely love it. I go to the Spartanburg one at 6:15, and it has been amazing. They have childcare as an option, but I had to have a hard conversation with myself in the mirror, and you're probably gonna have to do that over the course of a health and fitness journey and say, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And for me, I had that hard conversation. I said, you're not gonna lift weights consistently if you don't have someone that is helping you do it. And two, you are going to have to become a morning person to make this happen. That is the only way I was able to make that happen as a mother, because I have children and I absolutely love being around my kids, but equally I love spending time with my husband. And when I was working out at night, I wasn't getting to spend as much time with him in the evenings. We rarely saw each other. And so I said, you're gonna have to really do the hard thing. You're gonna have to get up early. You're gonna have to get up before everybody. So I tried 5 a.m. workout class, the Burn Boot Camp. I highly recommend you look and see if there's one near you. They do have exercises on their app, but I think what really is so different is the environment that you're in there. I tried the 5 a.m. It was slam full. It was crazy. Like, I think they have 70 spots open, and of the 70 spots, like, it was 65 people. It was just slam full, and it was just crazy. So I actually switched to do these 6:15. So I work out from 6:15 to 7. And then I can come home right as I am walking in the door. Sam is, you know, able to leave for work, and that's just how it works. We just don't see each other in the mornings, but that's fine because we have the evenings back. I do love the environment of Burn Boot Camp because you kind of have that personal trainer who's walking around checking your form. It's high intensity, but you are really, they are weight focused. And then the other thing that I like is it is just a very like high five your neighbor, you know, you grab a partner for today's workout. I don't know the people at this gym. I don't have someone that I go with, but everyone is just so excited to be there. I've never been in an environment like that before. And it is just so different, and there's just no judgment. And it's a lot of women. There are some men, but a lot of women. And it just, you feel so welcome at that gym. And I think that's what I like about it. But that was what made me consistent with weightlifting, which has made my abs pop. It has made my arms so strong because you gotta lift the weights. But I did need that childcare aspect. Although I don't ever use it, the goal is to not have to use it, but I still like having that option if possible. So I work out 6:15 to 7, 3 times a week. This week it'll actually be 4 times a week, and I just absolutely love that gym. So yes, food is more important, but I do work out, and that would not be able to happen without my husband because obviously he is home with my children. And if not, like I have a friend who her and her husband actually both go to Burn. So they take their son after they're both off work, they put him in the childcare, and then they will work out, pick him up, and go home. And so, you know, you can kind of work it around your schedule, but for me, I just had to switch to the morning because that was like getting it done was just super important for my marriage and getting to spend time with Sam. But that also made just a lot of other positive changes in my life. So we will now get into the questions. And again, am I going to say it like again, like the working out is just, it's important, but it is the 10% in my opinion. So question number 1, do you still intermittent fast? So yes, I've always been someone though who like, I never in my life have taken intermittent fasting so serious to the point that like I will be miserable and not eat because it's not like my fasting window isn't open or closed or whatever. If I'm hungry, I eat because I'm just not a nice person if I'm hungry. So yeah, I do still intermittent fast. However, protein, like when you eat high protein, you're fuller longer, so it's not as much of a problem. But yes, I do. How did you continue to change macros after stopping faster way to fat loss? So I stuck with the faster way to fat loss macro split up until October. And then I honestly tweaked them just a little bit. That was when I kind of went rogue, went online, looked at a couple little calculators, looked at how many grams of protein you need to be like consuming. And that's when I saw like 1 gram per 1 pound that you weigh. So I kind of tweaked them slightly. I am in a maintenance. I am not in a deficit though. Truthfully, I don't think I could be in a deficit because you do get to a point where if you're not eating enough, your body is going to hold on to that weight. It's going to panic and be like, wait, no, we can't do this. So I'm in a maintenance. I think if you actually were to like put it into a calorie count and just disregard the macros together, I think it's like 1,980 calories a day or something like that. But that's what like roughly my macro split is at now. So I'm in a maintenance, not in a deficit, not in a surplus. So tips for loose stomach, skin, or belly button. So I do still have this. I will link the cream that I have. Hold on, let me go grab it. Okay, it's called the Get Dreamy Overnight Toning Body Whip. You have to play the long game whenever you are using a cream. This is not gonna be like a 2-week thing and you're all of a sudden gonna feel like everything makes a big difference. I did a full like body skincare video. I'll link that below. I talked about these kind of things though, but this has helped a lot tone up that loose skin. But I'm going to be honest with you, as someone who like goes to the med spa and is consistent, like there is sometimes that there's so much skin that you either have to get a like something done at a med spa or even like a tummy tuck if that's just not feasible. I think you should always try these things first, but yeah, sometimes it just does get to the point where it's like I can't get this away with a topical product. Fortunately for me, mine isn't terrible, and that has made a huge difference around my belly button. Can you share meal plan, easy snacks? So I, again, don't snack as much now that I am high protein. I try and do, so I have 2 rules. One, I try and get a serving of fruit in every day. Not very good about that. Honestly, fruit is not my fave. I will like try and eat strawberries. Like if the boys want fruit, I'll be like, all right, let me go ahead and get some strawberries and blueberries in. An apple is always a good one. So I try to do that. But what I'm actually big on is something green every time you eat. So avocados, broccoli, kale, spinach, whatever. Every time you eat, try and have something green on your plate and eat that first. It makes a huge difference. And so for me, I'll do like avocado toast in the morning. My boys love avocados, so that's always a win. At nighttime, like broccoli is always really good. You can have that with dinner. For lunch, you can add like cucumbers are a really, really beneficial food. So just something like that. I like cucumbers with hummus is such a good snack, so you can do that. But I've tried to do a like full what I eat in the day, but it's so boring now that I eat high protein because I only eat a handful of times that it's not, like I don't find it to be the most helpful because it's just so boring and quick. What can I do to break through a weight loss plateau? So anytime I have plateaued, usually you have to do, I believe it's called like reverse dieting or something. You have to kind of increase your calorie intake slightly, or your macro split, you have to increase it slightly. That has usually worked for me. But again, that's where the faster way to fat loss, like that coach helps, because if you get to a plateau, she can kind of adjust and tell you exactly what you need to do. But for me, what has always worked when I reach a plateau, temporarily increase the calories or macros. And then once the plateau ends and you're back to like losing weight at a little bit more of a consistent basis, you can go back to your original macro split. Do you stick to gluten, dairy free during fast race? So you can, I did not. I actually have kind of stuck to a like gluten-friendly, dairy-friendly thing. I have found what irritates my stomach. So for me, like bread at the store was like the biggest thing for me that would upset my stomach. So when I switched to sourdough, like everything sourdough from Aldi is what I get, I really didn't have any like gluten problems anymore. If I eat, you know, some things, it's can irritate my stomach, but I make a lot of bread now. I make our pizza crust, like I get sourdough from Aldi. So I don't have as much of an intolerance to gluten as I used to. And then for me, dairy, anything that was shredded was actually the problem. So if I buy like a block of sharp cheddar and then shred it myself, like with a cheese grater, it doesn't upset my stomach at all. But if I buy the actual like grated cheese from the store, it would upset my stomach because there's something in there that they put so that the cheese doesn't stick together. And I might be butchering that, but I kind of found what worked and what didn't for me. So no, I'm not technically gluten-free or dairy-free now, but they do have that option in Faster Way. How did you time working out with a newborn? So again, I would put Roman down, and my boys were good sleepers. So for the most part, right out of the gate, I mean, he was an every 3-hour baby until he started sleeping, you know, 5-6 hour stretches. But if he woke up and needed a diaper change or anything that wasn't breastfeeding, Sam took care of it because he's a competent husband, and having a village is such a game changer for working out. It is so hard if you don't have a good village, but he understood how important it was to me to work out, and he wanted that for me. So Sam took care of everything, and that was how I was able to make it work. But I did definitely, you know, try at nighttime. I was not able to join a gym until my boys were 100% sleeping through the night. I don't think I would have been able to get up early and, you know, be this morning person to make these changes if I had children that were waking up multiple times through the night. So that is important to know if you are a mother. It is so hard if you have a child that wakes up 2 to 3 times. My boys, we did the like needs met sleep training. So not the cried out method, but they both were sleep trained at like 5 or 6 months, and it made a huge difference. Now they both sleep 12 hours at night, 7 to 7, and they just sleep so good. So they don't wake up until 7 a.m. and by 7 a.m. I'm done with my workout on my way home, and Sam can handle it for 20 minutes until I walk in the door, even when he's trying to leave for work. Are you eating at maintenance now or still losing? So no, I'm at a maintenance now. I am not in a deficit, and I don't want to be in a deficit. Honestly, I am at the point where like I am so confident in my body. I weigh less than I've ever weighed. I feel like I look so good, but I am at the point where I know if I were to continue to lose weight, it would be like, girl, that does not look good. You look sick. And Sam has made a couple comments lately. He's been like, you look so skinny. And I made a comment the other day just to see what he said. Like, I was like, should I lose more weight? And he was like, no, you would look insane. And I was like, okay, so it's not just me. Like, definitely don't need to be losing anymore. I'm in a maintenance. How often did you have to recalculate your macros to keep losing weight? I've recalculated them one time. What does your schedule look like? I struggle to work out with a 16-month-old. So I wake up at 5:15 in the morning. I have to be out the door by 5:30 to get to my 6:15 workout class. I work out from 6:15 to 7, and then I come home and then we start the day. The boys are at the age now where they're self-sufficient enough. I usually throw them on my bed, turn on a little bit of Miss Rachel, or there's a truck show they like that teaches them the name of trucks, and I'll shower real quick, and then pretty much throughout the day, like, they're just hanging out around me. So that's kind of what I do. I do that 3 times a week. The other 2 days, I do either my Peloton from home or I run a 5K. This is the app that I've used multiple times. It helps really train you to be able to run a 5K. I have fully completed the program, and now I am trying to increase my speed before moving on to a longer distance. But 2 times a week, I will either run or do the Peloton. I know some people say, oh, you should just weight lift. And some people say, oh, you should just do cardio. I have found that doing both is actually really, really beneficial. Weightlifting is really the key. It sucks to say that, but I still like to keep my endurance up and be able to like run and feel good. It clears my head. So I will 2 times a week, instead of getting up and going to the gym, I'll get up and run. And then there are 2 days a week where I do nothing strenuous, no working out, no weightlifting, no running, no Peloton, nothing. I do also want to note, I walk 10,000 steps every day. So if I do get to the end of the day and I haven't hit 10K, usually I'll be like 7 to 9. I'll just like change into clothes real quick, and I'll go on like a 15 to 30 minute walk, and that way I can like hit those steps. I don't sweat or anything, but that is a good way for me to hit that 10K steps, because it does make a difference to move your body, even on those off days. Did you start your weight loss journey after breastfeeding? I'm nervous about supply. So I took it more serious after I was done breastfeeding. With both boys, especially Ezra, the weight kind of fell off naturally over the course of a few months, but my body held on to the last 10 pounds until I was done breastfeeding. So, again, with Roman, like, I didn't get a choice to stop breastfeeding. My postpartum depression really had a lot to do with that, and my milk supply just disappeared overnight. My body was spent and done. But I did lose about 10 pounds with both boys as soon as I was finished. I would have held on to that 10 pounds gladly if it meant I got to breastfeed my children longer, but that just was not in the works for me with Ro. What does an average eating day look like for you? Again, I just really try and prioritize 120 to 140 grams of protein. I will have to do a full what I eat in the day. I do it sometimes on my vlog channel, but it's so boring. And then how many days do you work out versus strength training and cardio? So like I said, 3 times a week I'm at the gym, so that's weightlifting. 2 times a week I'm either doing Peloton or running, and then 2 days of no strenuous exercises, but I try to hit 10,000 steps every single day. How do you approach your balance between eating healthy and treats? So I don't believe in cheat meals, and I don't believe in cheat days, because I don't believe that you should restrict yourself from things that you want. I am someone who, if you tell me I can't have it, now I want it. I want it 40 times more than I did before. So if you want the cookie, eat the damn cookie. As plain as I can say it. That cookie is not gonna be the reason that you don't lose weight, and it's not gonna be the reason that you gain 10 pounds. It's just a cookie. Everything in moderation. Don't eat 10 cookies. Don't eat 10 cookies every day. So that helped kind of retrain my brain. I can have a cookie. I just can't have 10 cookies, and I can't have them every day. And so I don't restrict myself from things like that, but I genuinely used to believe that people were full of it when they would go, oh, you don't crave, sweets as much after you've eaten healthy for a long period of time. I was like, there's no way. I have the world's biggest sweet tooth. They're right. Y'all, I don't crave sweets like I used to. Like, I baked so much during the holidays, and I didn't eat half the stuff, because I was just like, it's really sugary, it's really sweet. I don't want that. So I don't have necessarily like cheat days or, look at treats as like a bad thing. I'm just gonna eat this cookie and count it with my macros. Tips for bloating and or fixing your gut for a flatter stomach. So fixing your gut is very important, but I would recommend going to a doctor about that, or a nutritionist, dietitian, something like that. For bloat, I actually take these JS Health Detox and Debloat pills. I do not take these every day, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't recommend doing that. Simply because if you have to take these every day, there's something else going on, and you need to fix it rather than mask it or cover it up. These I really take because they do help so much with bloating. The last 7 days, like as my cycle is ending before my period starts, I'm not someone who like bloats a ton on my period. I bloat like insane leading up to it though. Like I'm just so bloated and I'm uncomfortable and I can feel that like tightness in my belly, and I take that and it really helps get rid of it. So again, the actual overall gut health, you need to fix that if that is actually something that you think is an issue. But for just that, like, you know, cycle bloating or temporary bloating, that stuff is great. 3 non-negotiables on your journey. Walk 10,000 steps every single day. Non-negotiable, doesn't matter. If I couldn't work out for a month, I would still make sure that I walked 10,000 steps every single day. Something green with every single meal. I believe that that is honestly so important. And yes, the protein should be a priority, but like eating something green has just been a game changer for my skin and energy levels as well. And then drinking water every single day, 100 ounces plus. It's very easy when you have these big cups. I aim for a gallon. I don't often hit a gallon, but you need to drink at least 100 ounces of water every single day. So those are my 3 non-negotiables: water, 10K steps, and then something green with every meal. Do your kids always wake up at the same time in the morning? Yes. So like I said, we did needs met sleep training, and so they sleep 12 hours and they absolutely love it. And if you try and keep them up like even past 10 minutes, they both start rubbing their eyes. And so they go down at 7 every single night and they wake up at 7 every single morning. How can I fit in the gym with my 2-year-old has a 1-ish hour discrepancy in wake up time? So that would be where you would maybe need to go, okay, is working out at night something that I need to do? Like Burn Boot Camp, I believe they close at 8:30. I might be wrong. They have evening classes. So that would be where you just look and go, okay, can I fit in a workout in the evening versus that morning time? Or if you're a stay-at-home mom, like, okay, the 8:30 is, I'm gonna go get him up if he's not up yet, and then he will get into a routine as well. We have friends that they have changed their daughter's bedtime numerous times to work with their schedule, and she has taken to it beautifully. Our boys, it's just 7 to 7. I'd love to hear all the ways you hit your protein goals. I've recently been prioritizing it. This is a huge one, so this is not fun. You're gonna wanna eat meat with a lot or all of your meals. Like I have to do like sausage and eggs for breakfast. I need to do a meat with lunch, like either chicken, grilled chicken, fried chicken, a sandwich meat or something. 12 grams may not sound like a lot. Like if you eat sliced deli meat, I think there was one yesterday, for 2 slices of the deli meat, it was 12 grams of protein. So I added 3. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up over the day. So meat with every meal, and then it's not fun. You're gonna want to find a good protein drink or protein bar that you like. My favorite are the Built bars. I love them. They literally taste like Mounds bars or Almond Joy. They're so good. And then also I do protein ice cream. I will link my favorite protein ice cream recipe in the description bar and comment section. I don't add a lot of stuff to it because I don't want to have all the sugary extra stuff. I don't want to be, making macros go crazy. I just eat protein ice cream, and that right there, usually my protein ice cream is like 40 grams of protein. So yeah, you're gonna wanna find a good protein shake. You're gonna wanna find a good protein bar that you like, and then meat with every meal is really how I'm able to do it. How do you handle days where you don't have the motivation or don't feel like working out? So I have always loved the quote that says, you won't always be motivated, so you must always be determined. You're gonna have to look yourself in the mirror so many times throughout this journey and be like, how bad do you want this? Do you want to stop making excuses? Do you want to stop saying Monday, I'll do it on Monday? Do you want to feel better? Do you want to look better? Do you want to have that after photo? Okay, then you got to get up and keep going. And you will not always be motivated. There will be sometimes you'll be tired. There'll be sometimes you will want to hit the snooze button. So you have to be determined. You have to be determined to keep going, and you have to every single day put one foot in front of the other, even if you don't feel like it, because then you'll look one day and you'll be like, oh my God, 18 months. That was like so long and so hard, but I did it. I also love the Mel Robbins. I've been reading her books and I just am obsessed with her all of a sudden, but her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is amazing. So what she says is you count backwards from 5, and what you're doing is you're already stopping yourself from talking out of it. So say your alarm goes off and you want to hit snooze, you don't. You go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you get out of bed. You don't hit the snooze button until you are out of bed. That one thing has completely changed my morning routine and my life, because not hitting snooze and just having to listen to that alarm, like I'm gonna get my butt up out of bed, but the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is great because it's like, I don't wanna do this, I don't wanna do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just do it. And it just helps so much. And I don't know what kind of little trick that like plays on your brain, but it's amazing. What type of workouts do you think help see the most progress? Weightlifting. Just lift the weights. You're gonna have to lift the weights. I know. You're gonna have to do it. And also, you're gonna have to keep lifting heavier. So once you get adjusted, you're gonna have to keep going. Or otherwise, it's just not gonna be beneficial. And that sucks. But I started the gym at a relatively fit-ish level. And I was really in my comfort zone. All right, I'm only gonna use the 10s to 12s. And after a couple weeks, I was like, all right, 12s to 15s. And last week, I finally was like, okay, if you're gonna do this, again, I had to look myself in the mirror and go, if you're gonna do this, then you need to do it. You're paying for this gym membership. Do you want this? Do you want to have that body? Like, you have your dream body. Okay, do you want it to continue to look this way? Do you want your body composition to keep looking better? Okay, you gotta lift heavier. So now I'm up to like 17 and a half or 20. And even today I used like 30. And they can definitely tell that I'm lifting heavier. And they can also tell that I'm probably, like, even especially with my legs, that I'm not lifting heavy enough. The people at Burn Boot Camp, they learn your name, they know you, they know your routine. They can tell that I'm not even pushing myself probably as hard as I could on my legs. So you're gonna not only have to start with the weightlifting, you're gonna have to keep going, and you're gonna have to gradually lift heavier. Also, when it comes to the workouts, I heard the best thing ever, and I can't remember who said it, but she said, if you want your body to look exactly the same but smaller, you need to eat right and do cardio. If you want your body to be smaller and look different, you need to eat right and lift weights, and that's so true. I didn't get my dream like body comp until I started weightlifting consistently and going to the gym consistently. Cardio definitely made me skinnier, but I now have these really long, lean arms and these super muscular legs and this like strong core because I weightlift. What has been your biggest challenge mentally and physically throughout? Just having those check-ins with yourself and going, hey, remember how you felt when you like didn't like the way you looked and you were telling yourself Monday, yeah, that sucks. So let's keep going so that we don't get there again. And even though you're here and you're at a really good fitness level and you're better than you were there, is this where you want to be 100%? No? Okay, then you got to keep going. And you just have to constantly tell yourself, like, you have to want better. You have to keep going. And I saw a girl on TikTok recently. She said that, like, she talks about weightlifting and fitness. And one of the things she says is she's pretty blunt. And she said, like, someone goes, oh, you're so into yourself. Like, you just love yourself. And she goes, yeah. Do you think I weightlift so that I can hate myself? And I totally feel it. Like, do you think I lift heavy weights and walk around here sore so that I can hate myself? No. Do you think that I prioritize protein and eat freaking kale so that I can hate myself? No. I do it so that not only do I look good, but that I feel good. And if that means that I love myself and love the way that I look, then yes, I do. But that is definitely a hard thing, is you are gonna have to look at yourself in the mirror and go, I can do this because I want better. I want to do more. Do you feel like mental health has improved? Oh baby, it's not even, I wanna just go back and hug that girl from 18 months ago, and I wanna go back and hug that girl from last April, and I wanna go back and hug that girl again in July. Like, I want so badly to go like have a coffee with my old self. You see that on social media now, and just be like, girl, you're gonna do it. And it's gonna be amazing. And the way that I feel, the energy levels, the sleep, the joy that I feel because I'm moving my body and I'm fueling it with really good food is an absolute game changer. Like, this country, they be putting some crap in our food. And once I really started eating nutrient dense foods, things that are like one ingredient, eggs, spinach, kale, like those things, I feel like my body just, I have so much more energy. And of course it's trickled down. And I've often said, like, since doing this fitness journey, I poured into my own cup that now it's overflowing so much that I'm pouring into everybody's. You can't pour from an empty cup. My cup is not empty, it's overflowing, and I am pouring into everybody and everything that unlike ever before. What do you use to track macros or calories? I use MyFitnessPal. I've loved that app since I was first kind of dabbling with it back before my wedding. I think I do pay for the membership. Maybe you don't have to. I don't know kind of what their deal is, but that's the one I use because you can customize and like change your calorie count or your macro count. So it's very easy to use. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. What's the best exercise that helped you see the best results? So this is so important. If I still have you here, first, I love you because this has been a long video. You cannot target weight loss just like you can't target weight gain. If that was true, I would have a skinny waist and a fat ass. I would have a huge butt. Unlike anything you'd ever seen, and my waist would be like this big. But you can't target that. Now, you can do leg workouts that will maybe help your legs look more toned. You can lift weights in your arms, and that will definitely make your arms feel stronger. But you can't go, okay, today I'm gonna do this workout, and that is only gonna take the fat away from your arm. That's why, for instance, like for me, the first place that I gain weight is my like midsection, anywhere below like my belly button to my knees. That's where I gain weight first. But the first place I lose weight is my arms. You can't target weight loss just like you can't target weight gain. If you are looking for something to lose, like if losing belly fat is your goal, you have to lose overall weight. If losing arm jiggle is the goal, you have to lose weight overall. And then you fill it with muscle by weightlifting, and that is going to give you that change in the look that you want. So you're losing overall body fat. That's going to get you to a point where you your stomach looks flatter, and then you're gonna do those ab exercises, those core exercises, and that's what's gonna show those abs. I hope that made sense. What's your schedule routine? I think I covered that. It's 3 times a week weightlifting, 2 times a week cardio, 2 times a week chill. Do you have thyroid issues postpartum? I do, and find it hard to lose weight. No, my sister-in-law did though, and she had to get on medication, and it helped her so much, like so much. That can even affect your energy levels, so I highly recommend reaching out to your doctor. How long before you saw results? So you guys know these photos I've showed you are 18 months apart. I would say it was about 3 months until I noticed a difference. Obviously my husband sees my body every day, like whatever, if I'm in the shower, he sees it. And so he kind of noticed around the 4-month mark. Around the like 6 to 8 month mark is when everyone was like, what are you doing? What's going on? So it definitely took a significant amount of time. And it was once I lost weight, and then again, like I had to buy new clothes, and everything fit me differently. That's when people were like, something's different. You look different. You've lost weight. And so, yeah, it was about 6 to 8 months until people noticed, but I'd say it was about 3 when I noticed, but it was at 2 weeks I felt better. So that was easy. What brand of protein do you use? Orgain. Hands down my favorite. It starts with a K, I can't think of it, and then also Premier Protein. I'll link all my favorite proteins in the description bar and comment section. So for making protein ice cream, it's the Orgain protein, and then drinking is the other 2. Do you meal prep? No. I honestly just don't have the time. I've tried, I wish I could, but no, I don't. Struggling to lose any weight. I'm going to the gym 3 days a week and watching calories. Suggestion, you may not be eating enough calories. That actually can happen. Either you're not eating enough calories, or you are not, you're eating too much and you think that you're keeping an eye on it. So I recommend writing down or like putting in the MyFitnessPal app every single thing that you eat, because you don't realize until you measure it out just how quickly some things can really affect you. But it could be that you're actually not eating enough. Again, if you're not eating enough, your body's gonna hold on to that weight and be like, nope, I don't wanna go anywhere. This is like fight or flight mode, and that's not good. So probably need to eat more. Last couple questions. Did you take any medication? No. Fab go-to meals and snacks. Again, fruit, greens, just protein shakes. I love the Built Bars. The Built Bars literally taste like candy bars. Like, they're so good. How do you shuffle working out with kids? Again, I've said that so many times. Either I do it after they're in bed or before they wake up, or they would just go to the gym and go to the childcare. How do you not graze? Pick at kids' food. Toughest part for me. Honestly, I just have to tell myself not to. Usually what helps is like, my boys are disgusting, so they'll like smear their food across their plate, but I don't give myself the option. If they are done eating, first of all, it's not my food, so I'll take it if they have anything left, and I'll put it in the fridge immediately so that they can eat it as a leftover later. Or if there's something left on their food, on their plate, and I know I'm not gonna save it immediately, it gets thrown in the trash. That is definitely something where like you can really pick at kids' food, and before you know it, you've eaten a lot more than you need to. So yeah, for me, it's a quick get it out of my way thing. Either it is put up for them later or it's in the garbage, and that's that. All right, guys, this was a very long-winded video. I hope this helps. I'm gonna try and do some what I eat in a day over on Instagram and then on my vlog channel, just because those videos don't do well here on the main channel. But if you stuck around with me this entire time, I'm so grateful. I just wanted to make sure that I covered everything, but I need to say it one more time. What you eat is more important than the workouts, because as someone who has done it, like, you can lose weight while eating right and not working out at all. But when I was just working out, like back when I first started my fitness journey from like February, March to like June, I didn't lose but like 1 pound, and I was working out constantly, but it was because I wasn't eating right. So I hope this video helped. I hope it cleared some things up for you. Thank you guys so much for listening to this chatty video. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.